Hi Internet, hi YouTube. So today, in my hometown, there is an informational picket going on at the local hospital. The people picketing are the employees. So I'm gonna go and get some more information. See what it's about, see what's going on. Alright, let's go. Hey, do you want to tell me a little bit about what's going on here?
Well, we decided to do this picket because Oroville Hospital laid off a bunch of really experienced registered nurses without any notice, without anything. They have refused to go to the bargaining table with us so we could bargain the effects of the layoffs and make appropriate changes for our community and for our patients. They've refused to do that. They've sent it directly to their attorneys, which makes us think, well, why aren't they being open and honest about this so-called restructuring? So it has led us to this point so we can let the community know what Oroville Hospital is doing, and they need to be accountable for what they've done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's your name?
Julie.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Heather.
Hi, Heather. Nice to meet you too.
So, do you want to tell me a little bit about what the picket is about?
Patient safety, patient care. Bottom line, if you don't have enough people, you can't do it.
And you feel Oroville Hospital is not providing these things?
All you have to do is look at how quickly we get to caring to people. If that is your judgment, so be it. It is not the judgment of a lot of patients.
So now we have a news channel here. I don't know what channel.
Challenge from a lot of different sources. This is a pretty important one.
And obviously, for some of these people close to you, you work with them every single day.
Some of them, most of the people terminated, I do not work directly with, although a lot of people did have their shifts changed with no additional option as to what they might do. So we've had a lot of readjustments. We've lost nursing positions with the emergency department, as has every other department. And in a time of census, this takes a difficult position impulsively having fewer people.
Yes, so I was going to be my next slide. What is this?
Well, I cannot speak for any individual patient. This, however, is a matter of having enough people to do the job safely, not linger so that the situation deteriorates. A lot of people will understand our situation and they'll sit quietly and they'll wait and they'll be very sick and they just won't get the care they need until we can manage to somehow find it opened up.
And how long have you been an RN there?
I have been here over 24 years.
So is this the first time you've ever experienced budget cuts like this?
Like this, yes. We have occasional rounds of financial crises that hit us every few years here and there. I suspect that's no different than any other hospital. Ours tend to coordinate with the time that the nurses' contracts expire. So, in many cases, I'm sure there's a lot going on here that I don't know about. Unfortunately, this also looks like the first round of contract negotiations for the nurses. And it's not that we are asking for the world, we haven't asked for anything. We are asking to maintain staffing The nurse you spoke to before, well, she won't be buying gas at the corner. She won't be shopping at the Wrigley's. Everyone is going to see a hit somewhere. And the larger the number of people that we lose, the larger the hit on this committee.
And so, being out here, I know you guys are only going to say, where do you go from here?
That will be determined later. As I had mentioned, we are entering contract negotiations. About the middle of February, we gave notice to the hospital that with the contract expiring in the middle of May, that we would make negotiations for the new contract. That is the next big issue.
It must suck though, you know,
after maintaining our ability to care for patients is paramount. And first, the contract booker, patients will always.
Hi guys. And my last question, what was your initial reaction when you found out about the layoffs?
A little surprised, worried that it would impact all of us because it's not one department. It is all departments. And you can no longer count on a lot of backup. We were already having shifts where we were running short, overwhelmingly busy. That is the nature of our business often, but this will only...
So what brought you out here today?
Well, I'm out here to support the nurses here and the workers who are picketing against the massive layoffs that the hospital in Oroville, California just had, and the budget cuts that the hospital's facing. Because I think it's a symptom of a problem that we're seeing in industries all across the board, not just with nurses, but in education and I mean everywhere you look. I think we're watching the crisis of capitalism play out, so I'm here to support a solution to that.
And how do you hear about the picket?
I knew a while back, I have a cousin who works here at the hospital. I think it's a pretty big employer in this town, and I was hearing news about when they first voted out the union, and that was something interesting. The union didn't seem to be, you know, coming through with, I mean, people didn't see the reason to keep paying dues if the union wasn't going to represent any big increase in their standard of living, so they voted it out. I think there were some layoffs immediately when that happened, but now it's kind of like when the timing was right and they needed to take a step further, being the hospital owners, then they really made a big attack and the union was gone, so there was nothing that they could do to prevent it or to fight back. So I think that workers in the hospital and around town and across the board, everywhere, I think are drawing conclusions from this kind of stuff and seeing that not only do we need unions to protect us as working people, but we need unions that are going to fight for a bold program that are going to prevent any concessions. And I mean, not just because these are our jobs, but because this is the only way to prevent a fall in the continuing fall in standard of living for all working people, for youth. You know, how are there going to be any good jobs left or any kind of a future for us if these attacks just continue to take place? So.
Have you had any negative experiences with Oroville Hospital as far as patient care, being a patient?
No, not me personally. I mean, I've been lucky enough not to have to come here too many times, but I've always been happy with my doctor. But I hear that nowadays things are a little understaffed in a lot of different departments. But
All right, well, is there anything you want to add, anything you haven't said about how you feel about what's going on?
going on here today?
I think what's going on here today is definitely a small taste of what's going to be the future trend. I think this is for my generation, strikes and an increased labor movement and working people across the board fighting for what little is left and fighting, against this trend and falling standard of living. I think this is the future, and we're seeing the very beginning. The crisis of capitalism is a reality that forces people to come out and do this. And so I think more and more young people, more and more working people, and more union members are going to see that socialism is not a crazy idea, but it's the idea the labor movement needs. So that's why I'm out here today.
Thank you.